She fluent in that cash talk. Walk in the booth like Naomi on the catwalk. And tell them bitches whoop whoop from the Jaguar. It ain't even right though. Push me and I might go. She ain't getting money, I'm like, what the fuck the hype for? When them bitches bite flow, make my appetite go. Poof, gone, voila, magic. Looking mad good just to pull up on them rampant.
Welcome back to another episode of Unhinged and Immoral. I am your host, Jamila.
And I'm Mecca.
And today, well, we have quite a different episode. You know, usually we can kiki and kaka, and hopefully we can still kiki today. But, you know, we're going to be putting that journalism degree to work today. We have a very special guest. But before we get into that, think back a couple of months ago, me and Mecca were at South by Southwest as panelists. And while that was an amazing opportunity, there were promises made that unfortunately did not come to fruition. And because of that, we are here today. So we were actually invited to South by Southwest by a company by the name of Calaxy. They brought us there to talk about being creatives and owning our own things and so on and so forth. And we'll kind of dive a little bit more into that. But today we have someone who actually worked on their team for a short while. To kind of get her perspective because she recently resigned. Gag of the century. So without further ado, we're going to introduce Sierra.
Hey guys.
Sierra, first off,
let's get into it.
Please introduce yourself and how you got into the company so, you know, for the people to understand.
Absolutely. Hey, everyone. I'm Sierra Mari. I am a creative brand strategist, founder of the Entertech Agency, which is a marketing creative agency, which is actually kind of how I got my role at Calaxy. They actually hired my agency as like head of marketing to lead like their strategy and stuff for the whole year for the most part. So it was really exciting. I was excited to help with the startup. I'm super passionate about like the intersection of entertainment and technology. I coined the term Entertech, which was like my version of biotech or fintech, but like for cool creatives to like leverage tech to their advantage. So it was really, it seemed like a really great opportunity at the time.
And then Sierra, you also have your own platform.
Yes, I do.
Music.
Yes, I do. And I have a series on TikTok that's gone pretty viral a few times called How to Build Your Own Shit. Where you're leveraging tech tools to be a creative, independent boss. So, yeah.
Okay. So let's talk Build Your Own World Creator Fund.
Yes.
That is what led us here. So
yes.
I think what will make this great is if we give our perspective of how everything happened.
Please.
And then you can give your perspective on what the Creator Fund was for you.
Yes, because I'm so curious on your guys' experience, honestly.
So Mecca, you can go ahead and start because I know you received or you saw the DM first.
Yeah. So actually, we have a classmate from Hampton who was working with the company at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he reached out to me and was like, hey, you're doing, you know, Hampton's a small HBCU, so people tend to reach back. And so when he was like, do you want to go to South by Southwest, you and Jamila? And I was like, I mean, yeah, of course I want to go to South by Southwest. He was like, okay, I'm going to loop you in. I'm going to get you on a call and some emails. I tell Jamila about it, and this can be a funny kiki tidbit. Jamila did not know what South by Southwest was.
I didn't, I didn't know for a while. We had like 2 meetings before I knew what it was. I never knew that South by Southwest was the festival. I thought South by Southwest was essentially a convention for Southwest Airlines. And I thought that, you know, maybe they were just trying to, you know, change their marketing. You know, they honestly had bad marketing for the past couple. I'm like, they're bringing influencers in. Yes. Sky Miles. I didn't know. And so obviously I'm like, but I am a say yes to all opportunities. I'm like, oh, it sounds great. Yeah, let's do that. Didn't even know what the hell it was.
That's
but yeah,
so funny.
We get on the first call. And as they're talking, again, I still didn't know what it was, but just the idea of what this thing was. Oh, there's a new app where you can essentially own your own intellectual property, essentially. That's how it was portrayed to us. And I was like, okay, that sounds cool. Like it's essentially another social media content app. And it allows you to kind of streamline all of your things. And it sounded like a good idea. And I still think it's a good idea to be transparent. You know, you can build your own world and just all of the things, explaining what the app was, explaining what the platform was in the company.
Yeah.
And in that call as well, we talked about we very briefly touched on the Creator Fund from my recollection in that first call. It was like a very brief, and I was like, okay, cool, sounds good. Fast forward to that second call, which is where I found out what South by Southwest was because of my follow-up question. I'm like, everyone's sounding so excited and things. I need to ask this question.
Right.
And what actually really made me realize what it was is because we were out eating crawfish. This is so unprofessional, by the way, but it's just what we were doing at the time of the call. We were out eating crawfish, and I was with my sister and her fiance, who works for Southwest Airlines. Before we get on the call, I say, "Are you going to be at the convention this year?" She's like, "What are you talking about,
girl?"
I was like, because you work for the airlines, are you going to be at the convention? Because we can see each other there. And that's when
You found out.
That's when I found out. So in that call, that's when we started to talk a little bit more about the Creator Fund, but also more specifically planning our live show. So that's when we were telling y'all, we're also really excited to plan a live show. Like, how can we're all about trying to make a relationship last long.
Yep.
Like, let's really expand this relationship. So outside of the Creator Fund, it was our perception that it was also offered, hey, let's also sponsor and support you all's live show.
Yeah.
And so we said, okay, cool. Like, yes, honey, we're excited. And basically, we're like, okay, so what do we do now? And they're like, okay, hey, y'all build out y'all's ideal budget, bring it to us, we'll counter and kind of go from there. We're like, perfect. And at that point, we were probably 2 weeks out from the festival anyway. So it was like, okay, cool. And then we get to the festival, and it was a blast. I had really a great time. I thought it was amazing. Everything was paid for, flights, hotel rooms. Yeah. We had an amazing dinner with team with alcohol and steaks and potatoes. And I felt like royalty. I was like, I love this company, and I'm never leaving. You guys can sponsor everything I do.
Yeah.
And I think that played into the distraction.
Correct.
The deceit, the deception of it all.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right your end?
It absolutely does. And I would say, like, from the beginning, and I'm not, shout out to that team member, because without him, we didn't really have a plan for South by Southwest. Like, it was really a last minute thing, because for my first 3 months, this is all relative, by the way. I just want to give context. For my first 3 months, knowing what I knew about, like, the goal and what we wanted to do for the company, it was a big year, go-to-market strategy. So for the first 3 months, I was just throwing ideas at the team, like, is this approved? Can we do this? I have this resource. And my whole thing was, if we have some type of festival or conference or summit we can go to have our presence felt, we can get content, we can get a creator. It's more of a bigger moment that way.
For sure.
Especially because with the product, and again, like you said, the product is a good product. I would never speak on an invention or a software that actually works. Yeah. Like, it's a really good product. But for me, I knew that it was requiring a learning curve, and that people definitely needed to experience it, see it, and understand it from a deeper level. And 9 times out of 10, most people, especially in marketing, are going to trust people that they already trust. So getting those creators, getting those people that people are rooting for, especially. And to be honest, I'm a Black woman, and I was working at a Black-owned company, and I felt like a lot of Black creators especially need more platforms vouching for them. So, I shared with that team member, my list of creators, you two were on it. And so he had reached out to you guys, and it was very much the same for me. I think initially we just wanted to gauge if you guys were interested in South by, if you were interested in learning the platform, because although I'm very fortunate to have this lens of duality of being an exec and having my agency and being in these rooms from the business side, if you will, but then also having my platform and having my own digital footprint, being a creator, I see both sides of the coin. And so I knew that, like, a lot of companies are going to underestimate the business acumen of these creators for the most part, especially Black creators are going to try to undersell them or try to, take advantage of them. And so for me, that's why I was like, no, we need to make sure everything is paid for. And plus, it was last minute. Yeah. So it was like most people, even with South by Southwest, months planned in advance. Yeah. We planned that and executed it in like
really
3 weeks.
Yeah. Like, from the time we got the DM to South by Southwest,
I was on that.
That was like a 3.5 week period.
Yeah. I didn't sleep for those 3.5 weeks, honestly. It was a lot that happened. And honestly, I think my experience working in music, especially working at labels and interning and stuff, you learn how to think on your feet, like really, really fast. And sometimes when you're planning something, shit just doesn't work out. And you got to know how to think on your feet and pivot. So for me, it was just a matter of getting you guys there, making sure that you guys had a good experience there. And also just like making sure people showed up to our panel, which they did. So I was happy about that.
Yeah. So my question, I don't know if it's this a me thing, so correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember numbers necessarily being talked about in the meetings before we got to South by Southwest, because I remember the shock on my face when the CEO got up there and said, we are launching $1 million creator fund to 50 creators, and these are our first 2. I remember going, well, let me clap for that, because I was like, did we ever? I said, and I think I remember right after I said, did you hear him say, did he say that?
No,
like, that's what he said. And I said, okay, well, let's party, let's boogie. So I was like, okay, like maybe this was the surprise for us. Like I was like, maybe this is just like, I didn't know what to expect. So for full transparency for our followers, again, we were promised $20,000 each for this creator fund, because again, $1 million split by 50 creators. And to this day, we have not received any compensation from Calaxy, not a dime, or a nickel, or a quarter.
Just the steak at South by Southwest.
Just that steak.
Which it was good.
And it was a good steak.
It was a good medium rare.
It was
I like
good.
it.
It
Bloody chimichurri.
Let me tell you, that restaurant in Austin,
They threw
Texas.
down.
No, they did.
Was
They
delicious.
ate that.
It was
It was really good. They ate that.
The South by Southwest experience, I really don't have any complaints
have
of the
nothing but good
experience
things to
itself.
say.
And that feels
Which
amazing.
again, I think was the reason we were like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
'Cause that, and I know y'all, you said you did it last minute. Y'all executed that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was
Seriously.
very well
Thank you.
executed. We felt like important.
That means a lot.
That was one of our first real deal experiences in that way. So, I appreciate you for thinking of us in the beginning and trying to make sure that experience went well, because it truly did. Like we were all like, oh my God, like, we got a sprinter.
Yeah.
Like we were just gagged at the smallest things. I want you to
Yeah.
know, we were like, wow.
The little stuff.
But it
This
was
is
important.
nice.
Yeah, but it was important because I feel like this is normal for like white creators.
Yeah.
Like this is normal, especially those with your reach. This is normal for them. So
Yeah.
for me, it was like, if we had the means, of course, we had to budget some things out, but I was like, if we have the means to do it, we should go all out. And that was my first time traveling with the company. That was my first time even meeting the company in person, like all the team members and stuff, because it was
Because you guys
remote.
are working remote.
We was all remote. And I was the only team member that was in Atlanta. And also I was only there for like 3 months by the time of South by. So it was still very new.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. Cause like I said, I was really thinking like, I don't remember those numbers being talked about in the meeting.
So this is from my perspective, that wasn't mentioned. I had heard y'all say it, or at least talking about it, because I'll be eavesdropping.
Yeah.
So I heard a conversation about it, like that he was about to basically announce this. I didn't know exactly what it was, but just basically like, oh, we're starting Creator Fund. But that was not something that was mentioned initially.
Yeah.
That was something that was mentioned in the mix while we was there.
Got you. So let me give you guys the real breakdown, like the real truth. So when we decided to do South by Southwest, it was obviously the strategy was to meet creators where they were at. Have you guys come do the panel that I was at? I'm always about giving credit where credit is due. And as much as the idea became my main focus that was put on my desk, I didn't come up with the concept. That wasn't my idea. South by Southwest was my idea, but the fund itself wasn't my idea. It was an idea of leadership that came very last minute. And they were like, we're going to use South by Southwest as a Trojan horse. A lot of times in marketing, it's like, you go to an event, like Tyler, the creator, for example, he had a show, people leave, he announces his album, right? Like sometimes people do that. And so for me, I'm like, okay, like I get that. But when he made the announcement of how much money it was going to be, I had to, tap into my Virgo tendencies and make it make sense. Because at the time, I'm like, we're doing a panel. I don't know how this ties into the panel. Like, that was my job.
So you were confused.
I was confused, but it was my job as head of marketing and narrative and messaging to make it make sense.
Right.
It was like, okay, well, $1 million. I wish I could have some of that. Like, I wish, so for me, I'm like, all right, well, instead of just giving it to one person or whatever, let's spread it out. Let's give it to 50 different creators. But again, this was
now hold on, Sierra.
What?
the original idea was to give $1 million to one creator.
The original idea was just $1 million in general. Like, it wasn't really flushed out.
So okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Like, it was more so like they were asking me like my opinion of like,
What
how
should we do with this? I
money?
could tell you 7 different ways to spend
And I
$1
was
million.
gonna say, and
Yeah.
that became clear after South by Southwest. So after South by Southwest, that first week we were on a high. We didn't give a damn about nothing. We were like, we were at South by. Let's post this content, you know. So I don't think we thought too much into it. And as time went on, we were waiting to hear back from you all about the budget, because we had sent an ideal budget again. Now, for those of y'all who don't know how negotiating works, let me just break that down for you really quick. You start high. You know what I'm saying? Because they're gonna come back and drop it.
That's true.
So, you know, you ask for the moon and they come back and give you a blade of grass, and then you be happy with that blade of grass. So we did that. We shot for the moon, and we were essentially waiting to hear back from you all about a counter offer. What can we do? And it took a while. So we were kind of like, at some point we all started to talk like, where the hell Calaxy at, y'all? Like, we just hadn't heard from y'all at all. And I think that was the red flag in and of itself, just not hearing anything.
Yeah.
And so the next time we had heard from you all, we're not going to get too much into it, but essentially it was from a situation that occurred on TikTok.
Yes.
There was a situation where, y'all know the internet loves to come for us here, there, and everywhere. Just pick a time, y'all, and you was probably right. But one of the times where the internet was kind of not necessarily in our favor.
Yeah.
And what happened on my end is that we hadn't been in the loop of all the emails.
Correct.
So the next email I had was from you to everybody. I said, now hold the hell on now. What's going on, y'all?
I was a little spicy in that email.
Yeah,
I can
was
attest
spicy.
to that.
I said,
I'm
no.
sorry.
I said, well, what's going on? Because I'm like, we didn't know anything. So I text our group chat like, the hell going on?
Yeah.
Like, and I said, and I want to be in that next meeting.
Yeah.
Because at that point I felt like, I don't know what's going on, and now I'm specifically the target of the conversation. So let me chat.
Yeah.
And so from our perspective, it felt like we were essentially being chastised for not looping y'all in about situations going on TikTok. And from our perspective, it was like, well, doesn't concern you. Essentially. And it was like, well, if there was ever a situation where a brand felt uncomfortable, then you all should reach out. And so it was like a little bit of a contention point. We were like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And so that was a little confusing. But of course, in that conversation is when we started to, well, now that we're here.
Yeah.
What's going on with
I
this?
think
What's
it's
going on
also
with this fund?
important to interject in between all this. People were like asking us in our comments. We did have our followers apply.
Yes.
And so
I was telling specific creators.
And the thing,
I remember that.
A lot of, I know not a whole bunch on every single video, but every couple of days it would be someone, well, what about Calaxy? And I didn't have any answers to give them because it's like we had not heard from y'all.
Right.
And then I think also in that situation, having been in, us being in a lot of controversy in the last year, I'm not even gonna lie. There's only been one time where we felt the need to address things head on, and that was when it became a cross-platform. Like, I open my TikTok, I open my Instagram, it's this, I open my Twitter. And I personally feel like Twitter is a gauge. Yeah. If it's on TikTok Twitter, and it don't make it to Twitter, then we're straight. Yeah. Honestly.
Well, I would love to clear some things up because I think looking back, I definitely can see how you guys were like, what the hell was going on with all of this? And that's honestly why I looped you guys back on the thread. Like, not even to be petty, because I'm sure that probably is what it seemed like, but it was genuinely like, I was frustrated because I'm like, there was so much miscommunication happening on so many fronts that I was like, I think everybody that's involved needs to be on this thread and actually be very clear of what's going on. But I do want to backtrack a little bit because this is all relative, but I do want to give some context from my perspective and kind of how I saw some things. So with South by Southwest, when we made the announcement about the fund, I'm not shy or I'm not new to thinking on your feet. Campaigns got to move really quickly on some things. The issue with the creator fund that I have from the very beginning that I shared with the team, and I think any marketer, and this is marketing 101 for anyone that wants to get in marketing, is once you start a rollout, you cannot stop.
Yeah.
That's marketing 101.
You can already open the can.
Like once you, especially when you make an announcement and you have articles written and you have creators involved. Like once you start something like that, you cannot stop.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, I know a lot of people are talking about the Sydney Sweeney ad and stuff, but there were meetings about that. Like when you release something, there are meetings about that. And so there were a lot of meetings that I called to make sure, like, do we feel comfortable doing this? Because the startup saying, build as you fly, which I guess, because, sometimes you just don't have it all figured out, but that it shouldn't stop you from going. And I get that. But the difference is, this is not you building or developing or coding a product. This is you telling a story. This is you connecting with people.
And telling us what you're going to do.
So you have to follow up with that. You can't say something and then go ghost. Like, especially, that just doesn't make sense. So that was already a really big thing for me. And so when leadership decided to go and move forward with the concept, I had to think on my feet, like, okay, well, if we already have these 2 creators, they're coming to South by Southwest, in my marketing brain, it was like, well, they need to be involved in the fund. Like having them on the panel, but then we're using the panel to announce the fund, but they're not part of it, doesn't make sense. Right. So it was really like a reason for me to add some cohesion. And I also knew we were discussing about the live show. So for me, it was like, can we kill 2 birds with 1 stone here?
You tied it in. So did you, for context, our topic at the South by South panel was be your own CEO?
Yeah, from creator to CEO.
From creator to CEO. Did you come up with that topic?
I did, yeah.
Okay, so to your point, and to show how smart and great you are at your job, we were basically talking about how to make money as a creative.
Yeah.
And obviously that led into the Creator Fund, Build Your Own World. The whole point of the Build Your Own World was so that we as creators, especially Black creators, could profit and be paid what we're worth off of our platforms.
Correct.
So I think you did a good job of bridging them. It made sense.
I tried.
In that moment. It did make sense.
I did the best I could with what I had. Because I felt like also, like, with narrative and with platforms and tech, like, things just have to make sense. And like, creatives especially, we don't really care about like features as much as what is this feature or what is this going to do for me. And so I felt like, again, if we're announcing this fund but you guys aren't involved, and I knew in the back of my mind that we were discussing numbers, because I was speaking with your management team and I was trying to figure out, is this a tour? Is this a one-stop? Like, just trying to figure it out. I'm like, this could honestly kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Yeah. So that's the reason why it happened so last minute. I had pulled one of your managers to the side. She said it was cool, but I also think because it wasn't fully fleshed out, we didn't really have that full conversation because we couldn't have it.
Yeah.
I think if we had more time and just a better rollout schedule, like, I probably would have been more... Because I know a lot of my peers are like, you shouldn't beat yourself up, but I do take a responsibility. Like, at the end of the day, marketing and like storytelling, like, that was my job. And so any miscommunication, I do take responsibility for that at some point. Fast forward, yes. Things happened after South by.
Yeah.
I won't even say it was a controversy, but it was a little hiccup on the internet that happened, and we reached back out. And the reason why was because, again, you guys get the exclusive from me. The reason why was because we were already trying to flush out this campaign for this creator fund, because now we're getting applications. We had our creative director go viral at the time. Shout out to Halima. But also it was just like more and more people were finding out from you all, from Halima, from my end. It was like more creatives, especially creatives with stature, creatives that are working with big artists, like people in our networks were starting to reach out. And it became very apparent to me that this was becoming bigger and bigger by the day. Personally, when I saw videos of you and people were speaking about you, and I was seeing that creators were growing their platforms for speaking negatively about you, it was just like, to me, I was shitting bricks. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm thinking to myself, if a partner sees this, and we're trying to make this move, I'm like, is this going to throw us back even more? Because again, most of these things are usually planned before we go live. But because it wasn't, I'm doing more work that should have already been done. So now I'm overcompensating, I'm overthinking. So when I'm seeing this, I also felt like, it looked really bad on my end from the TL. So I was wondering why we hadn't heard from you guys. Because I'm thinking like, are they not seeing these videos? Like, what's going on? And so for me, it was just like, I was kind of freaking out, to be honest. Yeah. Now, that is Virgo anxiety. I will say we do overthink, and it does sometimes make us a little paranoid of like, what's going on? Like, what, you know, because for me, it was also like, I'm trying to get this over the finish line. Like, I'm already dealing and having to overly explain why certain things are going to have to work.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just like, you guys don't even know what's going on. We're trying to get these budget numbers. Then this controversy happened. So I was a little overwhelmed. I probably should have took an edible before I sent that email, honestly. But no, it was just for me trying to figure out what's actually happening.
For sure.
Just so I could also find an answer, so I could like let the team know, because it was really just like you said, no one really knew what was going on.
Yeah.
So that was really for me, like, y'all need to be involved. We need some clarity. And then to be honest, it was like, when we announced it, I don't think I knew, not to toot my own horn, but I knew that the work in the creative and marketing department, which was only 3 Black women, mind you, I knew the work that we did was gonna eat. And I knew that we were gonna go viral, all organic, no ad spend. But I don't think the team was prepared for it. So, and I don't think they were prepared to answer to as many people.
Yeah.
Or answer to as many creatives asking for insight, asking for details, asking for answers, because myself included, I was also using my own personal platform to vouch for this. And when I'm getting hit by not just like my creative peers, but like industry peers, like executives, mentors that are like, well, what do you need? Let me help you support. But then ask me for details that I can't give them.
Don't have any,
It also becomes, you know, problematic. So I totally understand. And so for me, I felt like, although I wasn't intentionally causing harm, looking back, I was complicit in it. Just due to association.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Hearing that from your perspective definitely makes sense. And from really like my perspective, it was more so there was nothing to address. You know what I'm saying? That kind of just comes with it. Having a platform, people are going to create narratives about you and go.
Yeah.
And specifically with that situation, it was one of those things where no matter what I say, it's gonna just go bad. So it's best that I just shut the hell up. And that's what I did. Because when I tried to give, you know, further explanation, it continued to just like dig holes. Even though like I know what I'm saying makes sense.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not being negative, even though I know how I'm presenting myself, this is the story that people want. And so that's the story that they're going to get.
Yeah.
And so it made the most sense for me to just let them have their moment.
Yeah. And you know, that's fair, especially with the brand that you guys have too, like just making that business decision really.
Yeah.
Because for me, I think that's also probably why I really think I was looking through it, obviously through my bias, right? Because I think I'm like, y'all, I'm trying to get y'all money. Like, what y'all doing? Like, I'm like not, and again, I didn't have y'all's personal number either. So I'm like, so it definitely makes sense on why you guys made the moves that you guys did. And again, like, I have no problem like apologizing for how I came at y'all, because I do feel like a bit of that frustration came out, but it was also because I'm like, I don't know how to clean this up.
Yeah.
You know, and so I feel like Virgos, we do have a Captain Save-A-Ho tendency a little bit.
Y'all stress very easily.
We
too.
really do.
And I'll be like, baby, so calm down, breathe.
okay.
We do, because we just, and then it messes up with our nerves and our stomachs, and it's just, it's a whole thing. But that's really what it was. Like, I was stressing because I'm like, I gotta clean this up and I gotta do this. So it just became like, okay, what's going on? But absolutely.
I think the other thing was, by that point, we and I have been in such controversy that I feel like now when things happen, it'd be like, and when, I mean, our platform is giving our opinions on things. Commentary, all this. You're not gonna like everything I say. I know that. So when stuff happens now, and I'm sure it's present and apparent in how we move, when stuff starts going up, you see we don't respond.
Yeah, really don't. On that Beyonce.
That's revenge of your paper. You see, we in the studio now.
And that was it was definitely intentional. So, but I can see how on your side it's like you guys aren't saying, like I get it. It definitely makes sense. So once we got on that call, you know, of course, like I said, we started to then let's go ahead and get into this money now. That we got that out the way. Yeah. And as we started to talk, I'm like, hold on. What the hell did y'all just tell me? What did you just say?
Yeah.
Because again, we didn't talk numbers before South by Southwest, right? Then we get to South by Southwest and you're getting $20,000 each. And so I'm like, period. Yeah. Next time we have the conversation, it was actually, you're gonna have to compete for that $20,000. Survivor style, bitch. Naked and afraid. Like it was like, wait, now hold on. And so it was like every time we talked, y'all, from my perspective, it felt like the requirements to get that money kept changing and kept becoming something that just didn't make sense. Yeah. So I was like, okay, so now it's a it's an up to. So then, you know, the verbiage starts to know what it's up to. Well, it's up to. It's up to. Okay. And then it was, you know, it's possibly a competition, or then it's okay. Well, actually what it is it's a specific incubator. And you have to learn all these things. And I said, okay, well, to be frank.
Yeah.
To keep it a whole $150, no shade, no tea. We don't need that.
I remember.
And I had to put them balls on the floor real quick, because I was like, you know, we don't need we don't need that. We don't need to learn how to use a platform because we have that. And that's why y'all reached out to us. So that was the confusing part for us, because it was like, now, why do we have to do all of this to get this money when y'all said we got it already?
Yeah.
And so from that point, we started to try to figure out how we can meet in the middle, basically.
Right.
And that's kind of where the relationship stood. And I think we knew from that meeting on, this wasn't going to end well.
Yeah, I definitely feel like during that meeting, I kind of knew by the way that it went, it was not the same feeling like South by Southwest.
Yep.
And I can be fully transparent to the best of my ability, because as you guys know, I have some like legal stuff I want to be mindful of. But I will say, you know, just so other people and creatives are aware of this as well, this is what happens when things aren't thought out. Like, transparently, like, I wish I could give you a more like professional answer. That's just the reality of the situation. I also want to preface, I know I was on the team, but I'm not associated with them by any means and in any capacity. But I will say is this, during that time, I know, like I was telling you guys, when we first came up with this concept of, you know, the fund and things of that nature, and figuring out the 20K each, or really figuring out how this concept was going to work and actually function and be executed. It became more, as we started fleshing this out, and not just in theory or talking about it in theory, but actually really looking at, okay, how are we going to distribute this? How are we going to get creators involved? How are we going to meet? Because we said worldwide.
Yeah.
So we also got to consider travel. We can consider, you know, restrictions. We got to consider the economy. Like, there was so many more other things. And that's kind of where that TV show concept came. Because with my background in like film and music and stuff like that and content, I knew if we have 50 different creators on one platform, a new platform, and we're all giving them 20K, and really the 20K, and just to specify in theory, because when you have multiple people on the team that are trying to communicate something that they're not clear on, you're going to get those miscommunications, right? You're going to be like, so I have to fight for this, but y'all just said, like, it becomes very confusing. But the concept that I developed and the framework that I developed for the fund itself was 20K each for 50 creators. Because the platform itself was a little futuristic and required an educational gap, I was like, it makes sense for us to basically pay these creators to figure it out and create something to put on the platform. So if you think of like, you know how like studios and stuff, they'll have like those incubator programs where they'll fund a short film or they'll fund something. My theory and my framework was, if we're funding these creators to get an idea off the ground, let's just have them distribute on the platform or build out the idea and then them just post it on the platform. Right. So that was kind of our like theory as time was going on to, again, make it make sense.
And that was what I was taking away from it as well.
Yes, like that's kind of where my mind was from a marketing standpoint of like, okay, like 50 creators, 20K, like we also as a business, there needs to be some type of return. Like when you have investors and things like that, it's like, okay, we're giving out this money to 50 creators. Do these creators even have, and I say this respectfully as someone who's also relearning and teaching herself about financial literacy, I'm sure an investor would look at a concept like that and be like, okay, so what are these creators doing? Or like, what are they actually going to use this money for?
Right.
And so they don't just splurge it. Like there has to be some type of reasoning for every single thing that we're doing. Sure. So for me, it was like, okay, we talked about the live show and I was really inspired by our discussions to even make the concept of that, of like, well, they're already working on something. If we're giving them a budget, 20K already, I'm sure 20K each, that's 40K, like they'll be able to use that. And that was really my theory. People and creatives, especially if they're passionate about it, they're going to do it for free. Regardless, whether they're getting paid for it or not. If they're really, excuse my American, if they really give a fuck about it, like they're gonna do it for free, whether they're getting paid or not. And so my thing was, that's who I want to target. Like I want to target those creatives that are hungry, that are talented, that have quality work, that are already doing it without people giving them permission to do so, because they're deserving of that bread. But when things happen in business that are not planned, and things change, you know, sometimes you have to pivot, especially on like an economic side of things.
Yeah.
But the challenge that I had with leadership with Calaxy, and when I even started to notice a decline on this is actually not as much as an alignment for me as much as I thought, was when we started to notice a shift in communication. Things weren't being communicated to me. Things that were communicated to me wasn't communicated to other people. Creatively, when this shift internally happened, I begged and begged and begged for weeks for things to be communicated to the public. Not everything, of course, but just, you know, letting this audience that just shared interest in our platform for the first time to let them know we are thinking about them. They still exist. This is what we're doing in the meantime. And that just wasn't considered, that wasn't honored. And so when you have, you know, certain people that believe that silence is better than providing answers, it causes some of those rifts. So I could definitely understand, again, how you're like, this is a red flag because you're not giving me any concrete information that that's reliable.
Yeah. I mean, from our perspective, like you said, we were planning to use the money to fund our live show.
Correct.
Which is why it made sense. Calaxy wanted creators to use the money towards the platform. And that was a plan, and we were aligned there.
I was gonna ask.
Oh wait, sorry.
Hopefully, I wasn't rambling.
Sorry. To your point about communication, I was communicating this with my team. That was my first corporate job, working for a startup. So I think that my perspective on how startups work, and how I don't know if anyone is. And I worked for a tech startup as well. So this is a very specific niche realm that we're in. And if you've ever had the experience, you wear many different hats. You might be paid to be marketing manager, but you're going to be doing some other stuff.
You're doing all 10 marketing department roles.
And you know, you might have needed help, but you were doing everything by yourself on your own. And for me, again, the red flag was the change in communication, but also a signal that everything in that company is not going right. Just because I've been there, the startup I worked for no longer exists, because when I saw it happen in my own job, this is the shift that starts to happen. So I was telling them, our team, like, I think y'all should put that. I don't think they have the money. I was really frank with that, and I feel like when we were on our calls, it probably came through how I was the one who was just sitting there, like, where's the money, Sharonda? It's not here. Like,
well, and I was saying, I know I came across as a bitch. I know I did, because I was honestly like, regardless on if that money is there or not, you're gonna give me these answers. And that was just kind of where I was coming from. I was like, you know, at some point it was clear. Like I said, it was very clear on our end that you ain't got that money, and they don't have the money. They lost it. Something happened, and that it was very clear based off of the way that y'all were talking, the way it was so vague. I'm like, nigga, you can't play a player. I'm a finesser. I know how to stall a bitch.
Right.
Who is you talking to? So I was like, okay, let me get on the call. And again, we hadn't been a part of a lot of the conversation. So I was like, add me to that call. I'm going to be on that call and I'm going to ask these questions. So as we begin to continue this relationship, you disappeared. Let's get into that. What ultimately led you, without, you know, I know we have to respect legal, but what essentially led you to resign from the company and drop that bomb on that Instagram?
Honestly, it was a buildup of the shit that we're talking about. Like, honestly, like, I think as much as I can speak, because I do want to honor the legal justice process of the United States of America, but I will say that when you start noticing negligence on multiple fronts, and recklessness, lack of communication, and to be honest, lack of payment.
And that's really what it comes down to.
Like, just to keep it a stat.
Put up with a lot if you get paid what you owed.
And to be honest with you, very similar to y'all's experience as well. Like, when I first got on board, I was very passionate. I believed in the company. They paid me well. Like, I'm not sitting here to bash. Like, they did pay me extremely well. But the issue is when people and things are doing well, and one of my mentors said this when all of this started to happen and kind of like show itself, they're like, when things are going good, people are going to show you the best versions of themselves.
Absolutely.
It's only when their back is against the wall is when you really see who they are. And as soon as that internal shift happened at the company that I don't think anybody was really expecting.
Yeah.
But when that internal shift happened, it was like my considerations to the company, what I did, just me, like, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It wasn't important. It was important for them to use my work or get access to new work to see how they could use it to move forward. And I think any company that is in the midst of survival is going to try to figure out the best way to survive. And if you have people that are willing to support and, you know, be like, no, like, I want to support, I can expect that support to be utilized, right? It makes me very angry. And the reason why I am being very mindful of my words, obviously because of like legal things, but also because it gets me very emotional, and I'm trying to keep my makeup on for the camera. It gets me very emotional to know that I was the second woman on the team. I was all the women that I brought on the team, you all, the creative director and the social manager as well that I brought on, were all Black women. And those were the same people that got fucked over. Because obviously I feel like I got belt to ass the worst because I believed in something a little bit too much longer than I should have. And I'm glad that you guys peeped it. You let them know, like, I don't think that this is going to be it.
I was saying from that.
Yeah.
Again, tech startup, that space is so, it's up and down.
Yeah.
It's in the wind.
And to be honest with you, like, I've worked at startups before, but that was like my first tech first type of startup. And so like working in music startups or music tech startups, even, those are people that work in the traditional entertainment space that are then tying in the technology into it, not tech first. This is how it is, a very specific niche. But I thought, again, could it just be my naive with experience? I thought, well, if you guys are a tech company, but you guys are wanting to cater to creators, then you should know that that's a niche industry as well. And like,
you got to be prepared for that.
You got to be prepared for that. And also I stress this to whoever's listening, like, the entertainment industry, the creative industry, the creator economy, whatever you want to call it, it is a people's business. Period. Like, it's a people's business. And like, I hate when people are like, business isn't personal, and that's all bullshit and all
It's
cap.
very personal.
It is very personal. I'm not going to do business with someone I don't like.
Exactly.
Let alone I don't trust.
Hello.
Like,
and you know, I'm very understanding. I'm a very understanding person, especially within this space. You have to know that things are not guaranteed.
Yeah.
And so I've been in entertainment a long time, and I know that, girl, it ain't guaranteed until it happens.
Yeah.
So I felt that. However, what struck me as the issue was not that it wasn't guaranteed, was that it was publicized.
Correct.
Because if you know that you cannot do this, you should not put it on that platform. And then with our names attached to
Correct.
it. And then on top of that, to use our name, image, and likeness.
Hello.
To, you know, build on this. And then so now we are the face of a promise.
That wasn't kept.
You know what I mean?
Let's talk about that. Can we talk about that for a second?
We can.
I mean, that would,
Can we-
so again, once we realized that the money was not there.
Yeah.
That became the main thing.
But we
Because
gave them an out.
Oh, did you?
We did.
We tried to give an out, and I do think with my knowledge of tech startups, had there been the transparency that you're talking about, like, hey, look, we
It
don't
would've been
have it right
cool.
now.
Exactly.
I think that
We would've
would have been able to
fine.
go
Correct.
back and communicate that, because to your point about it being the Black women you brought in, it's a Black-owned company.
Yes,
So
it is.
we were already moving with the spirit of, okay, just let us know
let
what's
us
going
know.
on.
Let's know
so we
what's
know
up.
what to tell the people.
Exactly.
Like,
No.
'cause our followers are Black, and if we said, listen, you know how the money is, y'all, just give them a second.
Correct.
That is more so, if there had been transparency, I see that's the way that it would have gone.
I agree.
It didn't have to be like this.
None of this should have been prolonged for you all or anyone else that was involved, honestly.
Yeah,
to your point.
August.
To your point. I mean, because it is about communication. And I think also when we talk about likeness and brand, I totally agree with y'all, because it wasn't really brought to my attention that certain resources that were promised weren't there until after I wasn't there. You know, and same thing with me. Like, when I left and there were still people reaching out to me about the fund, reaching out about details, things like that. That's when that led me to make my first video, disassociating from the brands. Like, guys, you know, I can only speak to what I did. There were some things that were happened. I tried my best to communicate that to you all, but there's, again, when it's not your company, there's only so much you can do.
And can we tell you something?
Yes.
We knew that was going to happen. We spoke on it. That last meeting that you were in, we said, Sierra won't be there long. We literally, so we said, Sierra is not going to be there long, because the way in which you were taking the brunt of everything, and I could see the frustration on your end, and they were just leaving you there to dry. And I was like, I can tell that something is amiss. I was like, I don't think they're looping. I was like, I don't think she know what the hell going on, y'all.
You clocked it. You clocked it.
I don't think she knows what's going on. The way they're kind of just sitting there like, and I said, why is these cameras off? Where is the CEO?
Questions.
Haven't heard from that. Listen,
questions.
You know, and so when you dropped that video, we dropped it in that chat. We said, what did we say? What did we say?
Yeah.
So yeah, it for me, it's a principle thing. It's always gonna be a principle thing.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like you stole money from me, right?
No, it's respect.
It's the respect. It's the idea of you, again, using our name, image, and likeness
For your benefit.
And the thing is, the whole point of Calaxy was so that Black creators want to be
and I said, now
hold on.
Now, come
that
on,
was the
Irony.
whole point of this.
Now, damn it.
I mean,
Damn.
I mean, the comedy writes itself. Like, the stories write themselves. But you know what's so interesting is, like, again, like, I made my video on TikTok, and there was someone that made a comment like, Sierra, this is not against you, but when you started talking about them, I even distanced myself from your content. So, of course, you know, I screenshotted that for, you know, damage evidence. But, you know, I think that when you are, again, depending on creators.
Do they have a track record? I'm sorry. It just registered with me what you just said.
Uh-oh.
You didn't hear what she just said? That's why I said,
hold
on.
What?
Hold on. Bring out that journalism brain.
You know.
Well, tell me some shit I didn't know.
I mean, because here's the thing.
Interesting.
I didn't know, right? I mean, I was only there for a short amount of time. I don't know. I mean, and so when you also, and something that I do want to speak about, what a lot of people don't know is, like, when we talk about, like, tech companies or, like, Web3 and things like that, that is a completely different world.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys, like, I really can't stress it enough. And the thing is, and I think this is the disconnect and why I even created Entertech in this pathway, is, like, there are a lot of people in that space that are benefiting off of really powerful tech that is now accessible to us. And to be honest with you, this is no shade to Web3 artists or Web3 creatives. You guys are very, you know, innovative in using the tech, and shout out to y'all. We do need that. But a lot of their work is not up to my personal standards of quality of work. But they're making 6 figures in a week.
Yes.
They're raising millions of dollars off a pitch deck.
Listen.
And it never made sense to me in terms of, like, people were making so much money, or I was seeing how fast and how much creators were making just because they knew how to use this tech shit. And I was never a tech girl. I was always like an English creative girly. But that was very interesting to me, because I'm thinking, well, damn, if I was just on set for 12 hours and I can barely pay my groceries, and I know I can write a better pitch deck than that on Canva.
Hello.
Why can't I get involved in that?
This is my little moment of a tangent. A lot of people talk down on the liberal arts majors.
Correct. They do. And it's really important.
And it's insane to see this. And this is no shade to the STEM. We love the STEM.
You all are important.
The medicines.
We need that. However, there's a certain touch when it comes to studying liberal arts that you learn, that you can only learn in those elements. So that's just my quick little pivot. But I want to transition a little bit.
Yes.
I think that we've made it clear that both you and I, TY, we are not in a position where we are we're no longer associated with Calaxy. And we clearly are owed some things. And we feel like, you know, things did not happen in the best way.
Yeah.
And so my question to you is, what would make you happy within this space from Calaxy? What would make you say, you know what, Calaxy, touche,
I let it go.
fair, square, shake hands, and be good? What would make you happy?
One, mentally, I feel like I've already visualized being good with them.
Okay.
You know, because I think when people know better, they do better.
Yeah.
And I feel like what would make me happy is just receiving what is legally owed.
Amen.
I think that is fair. I think that's me just being honest. Like, I don't, shout out to my grandmother who got her PhD.
Hello.
She has a very wise saying that she would always tell me, and I think now more than ever always sticks out to me. And like, the story begins at home. The story starts at home. And how people move is how they're gonna move.
Yeah.
That's not my job to fix that. I just want what's legally owed to me. And that's it. Like, I want to, the damages have been done, to be honest. I think I'm very fortunate and very grateful for my community as well, that not only know my true character, but also encourage me to speak up and to be aware of what's really going on and bring awareness to it. Because I think what it really is in this pattern, it's not even just the company itself, but this pattern, it's creative abuse.
Oh, yeah.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
And we normalize that and we enable that because the psychology of creatives is like, that's what we expect.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it's going to sound very vulgar, but it's kind of like when you're in an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
Like, they forgive you, and honestly, I'm ready to pack. My shit's already packed. I've already left.
Yeah.
I just want the keys to my shit and I'm cool. Like, I wish them, you know, everything that they deserve. And I really genuinely pray that, you know, God allows me to experience new and better things.
Period.
And that's it.
I always say, like, and I say this consistently, the creator influencer market is still so new. And because it's so new, it allows for a lot of fuckery to happen.
It does.
And so I think that as we progress and as this industry becomes more solid, and of course now what we're seeing is those departments are developing more within the major companies. I think we're going to start to see more legislation around it, hopefully.
I hope so.
Because it's honestly kind of legal to fuck people over in this market.
It is.
And so it's my hope. Yeah, right. It's my hope that will change. The industry practices will change. But yeah, what has this experience taught you?
Ooh.
And what type of wait, what? Okay, yeah. What has this experience taught you? And when it comes to accepting opportunities in the future, like what does that look like for you?
Honestly, I feel like this experience taught me to stop sleeping on my own power. And I say that because as much as I was hired and my agency was hired to be in that role, I really, this is from my own personal experiences, I really don't think they hired me to like execute stuff. I don't think they really wanted me to. I think they wanted access to my audience.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
And especially with my series, How to Build Your Own Shit, like, the thesis of it is like me showing these platforms that creators can use. And so after really sitting and thinking about it, I'm like, damn, like, you know, that makes sense. Like to have somebody kind of be your personal mascot in that way. But it just said to me, like, well, if there's one company willing to go out of their way to do that, then it says to me that I need to take myself a little bit more serious, more than what I actually was, and also take my audience and my supporters and the people that was writing for me, adding them and writing for me and supporting me, like those are the people that I need to start prioritizing. So I think that's really what that taught me overall. Because I feel like in the industry, you're going to experience snakes and lions and bears, the whole zoo. Like it's just a lot of craziness that you deal with. But I think, and that's to be expected, unfortunately. Not everyone is bad, but you do sharpen your discernment as time goes on. But I really do think like if I was just a little bit more empowered and not so quick to allow my passion to like, I don't know, like I just feel like my passion kind of overrode like my own self-worth a little bit. I would have had more things in other places. I don't think I would have put all my eggs just for Calaxy.
And I think that's a good word for everybody.
Yeah.
It is.
For sure, yeah.
It is, because I feel like, and I say this too, because, you know, the Black women that were involved with, you know, the South by Southwest and things, even though it didn't work out with Calaxy, y'all are doing well.
Period.
Y'all are doing well. Halima's doing well. Sammy's doing well. I'm still doing well. I'm just not in my apartment. but we're going to move into a better one. You know what I mean? And it's just
exactly.
but it's like you guys also had other things in other places. You know what I'm saying? And so I think, although, I am a little ass bitch. So, I was willing to ride for the cause, but I realized that cause wasn't really willing to ride for me. But the cause that is my audience, the things that I stand for. So it really just made me rethink about my own power and how I was going about exerting that, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, these are definitely lessons that you get in your 20s. Have you really got to the bag if you didn't have a fuck-ass job?
We're still young.
Yeah,
that's
true.
the good
Like,
part. You
it
know what I'm
is.
saying? And it's like, you have so much time too. How old are you?
I'm 25. I'm turning 26 next month.
Yeah, exactly.
Girl, we
so
can make that.
you have your platform, as we keep talking about it, Gen Z exec.
Yeah.
You said you worked in music, film. So you have a lot of experience going into this before you even got to Calaxy. And so what I want to ask is there any advice that you would give to peers, Gen Z, entering not just like a tech space, but like working in general?
Oh my God, absolutely. I think, well, it's a two-front, right? Because it's like there are some creatives that want to work for another company, right? Like they want to work at a label or a network or a Tyler Perry Studios or something like that. And then there's creatives that want to create their own brand, right? So I'll do the first, which is just like, when it comes to networking in these spaces, please don't be weird, y'all. Like, please. Like, I know a lot of people are hungry, and so they want to get in these spaces, in these rooms, but you don't want to participate in spiritual warfare in order to get ahead. Yeah. Like, you don't want to, like, be transactional with people just because you feel like that's what you need to do to get in the room. Just be yourself. I promise you. Like, every single job that I've gotten, even Calaxy, even the label job, every job that I've gotten was literally because I created something for myself. Like, I got my label job because I was building virtual worlds for zodiac signs. Like, and they liked it, and they were like, well, this is a unique way of marketing. Like, like just things like that. So don't be weird when it comes to networking. Like, genuinely, if you wanted, the right people are going to attract themselves to you, like, period. And then for the creatives that are more entrepreneurial, you guys don't have to get into IP or intellectual property. I know a lot of y'all don't even want to get into law school and stuff. I get that. But please understand, and I cannot stress this enough, I'm going to get in the mic as well so y'all really hear me. I'm not even trying to be the annoying spiritual cousin or auntie, but I just need y'all to understand, like, your ideas are assets. Everything around you, your phone, your screen that you're watching this was once an idea in somebody's mind, and that same idea made them a millionaire. And the only difference between you and them is that they understood IP. Do what you will with that information.
Message.
Catch it.
That's it. Like, that's because we would be here for hours, but I really think that's important.
Yeah.
Like, even with me implementing certain IP rights and contracts, because again, like, if it's not in writing, it's not there. So you just want to make sure that your ideas, the content, even y'all's videos, like, putting that in a catalog and copywriting that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, little things like that where you're just protecting yourself, because if you're not, like, no one else is going to do it for you. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. That's what I would say, really.
Okay, so period. What is your next move? What's next for Sierra?
Well, it's funny you guys mentioned that.
Exclusives?
Yeah, actually. Yeah, I'll give you guys an exclusive.
Wonderful.
Actually. So as I mentioned, I do have a marketing creative agency that I have, but recently an old partner reached out to me about an idea that was a college project of mine. It was a TV show, actually, called The Zodiac Games. Obviously, I'm an Astro girly. If you haven't
picked it up, I think
I'm sure, hopefully, maybe.
She's about to read our charts after this.
But it was really a social experiment of, if you had these different representatives of zodiac signs going through these different challenges, like putting their mind, body, and soul to the test, like, what would happen? And so I pitched it, didn't get picked up, but kind of left it on the back burner, needed to provide for myself. And an old partner recently just reached out to me and they were like, hey, like, what are you doing with that still? And they asked me, was I willing to revamp it and just like change some things? And I told them, I ain't got nothing else to do.
Hell yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, actually. And of course, when you have ideas and stuff, like, and you've been doing content or art for such a long time and you've been like denied or rejected, it's very emotional and it's very taxing. Sure. And so I was a little hesitant to tap into that idea again because it was just so personal to me. But one, the fact that this is an IP of mine that someone is asking me about and they're like, nah, like, Sierra, like, I really think that you have a franchise here. But there's just a better way that you can go about it than a TV show. A TV show is very linear. Like, think about it as a brand. Think about it, no pun intended, but think about it as a world. Like, what does that experience actually look like? And just being supported by mentors. And so I'm very blessed to know how to protect myself, where people are now reaching out to me about shit that I didn't necessarily forget about, but just shit that I left on the back burner. So it's been... I will say that the Zodiac Games is coming back, and I can just say that it's gonna be something like you guys have never seen before. So I'm really excited.
That sounds fun.
Yeah,
and there's so, you know, when you get into zodiacs, there's so many different, I don't want to say realms, but like I found out a couple years ago about the is it called
astrocartography?
Cartography. And where, according to your zodiac sign, if you live in certain places, you'll have the best luck or best. So listen, I did my little thing, and my little dot is actually in between Houston and Dallas. And I will say, when I moved to Houston, my life went up.
I'm telling you.
So I've always like been like, there's so many things like Venus, you're like that relate to so many facets of your life. It's not necessarily just I'm an Aries.
Exactly. And that was really the whole premise. Like, I felt like at the time it was like just dating. Like very like surface level stuff. And don't get me wrong, I love a good drag of a Pisces man or whatever the case may be. But you know, it was like using astrology. Like, I use astrology in business. You know what I mean? Because it's about timing and like the market.
Nancy Reagan had an astrologer on her
I'm telling you,
she's in hell with Ronald.
Yeah, she is.
But on her knees, mind you.
But she did know some things. And you know, I think especially as like, again, Black people, like, we just have to understand, like, there are, and I use this analogy, and this may sound like real spiritual, but I want y'all to feel me, okay? When the slaves were escaping, they used the North Star.
They sure did. Yes.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Yes, the drinking gold.
I mean, the three wise men was... Well,
the stars have been here longer than we have.
And that's all I'm saying. Like, and I think just like with mundane astrology, the human experience, like, that's why sometimes when I ask people what their sign is, people think, you know, it's a surface level. But I'm like, no, like, I want to know what your sign is so I know how to be complimentary
on
to
signs,
you.
I love when people read me.
Aren't you a Gemini?
I am.
You are. You're May, right?
Yes.
Okay. I remember.
What does that mean to you? Someone who's so into you. I know what it means to me, but I just love to hear people talk about me.
That's very Gemini-like of you. Well,
Gemini of you.
It is. And I have a Gemini mother. My best friend is a Gemini.
Wonderful.
So
we are mutable signs.
You are, and so are we. We're ruled by the same planet, Mercury. So communication, talking, listening. But I will say, honestly, May Geminis, and what I like about Geminis a lot is your mental capacity. It is the duality. I know a lot of y'all say...
Clock it, sister.
I know a lot of y'all say that they're two-faced and that they're extra and all of that, which you can't control all people. There are some negative qualities. However...
We never said we was all good.
But, you know, there's good and bad traits in everything.
Right.
And so the beautiful thing about Geminis, I feel like the most supportive friends of mine are Geminis. I think when I need some investigations or really need support, I feel like Geminis know how to encourage people. And I think really it's because you guys are already very observant. And you guys are very observant to people's flaws. Yes. Like, y'all pick that up very quickly. Very quickly. Y'all pick it up very quick.
You will never get me. I see everything.
But it's like when a Gemini cares about you and they clock the flaw, they're going to use that to empower you. Like they're going to know that's the thing that they need to like actually empower you. And if, you know, they don't like you, well, God bless. But, you know, I love Geminis.
God
I
bless
think,
the dead.
But also I'm biased.
I mean, you've seen how Kendrick carried on. So
my Gemini king.
Look.
Yes.
Well, since we're doing this, I'm Aries.
I was going to say, and like, get to her with that red hair.
Well, one, very Aries of you to have the red.
Thank you.
In leadership, you guys are also the first of the zodiac. So I think leadership is super important. But honestly, Mecca, like just also from, because I saw y'all's content before I even met y'all, I think what I really appreciate about your content and that's so Aries-like is that you really just don't give a fuck. Like, you really don't. And the thing about Aries that a lot of people may deem them as reckless or impulsive. I hear a lot of that. Or,
I'm impulsive down.
I was like, well, y'all ate with that.
Yeah, like, definitely. But I think a lot of people also mistake it as for passion. Like they think the Aries aggression is like rah-rah when it's like you're just passionate about something or you feel very heavy about something, and instead of crying about it, you might get like loud or you might get a little spicy or you might be very passionate about the things that you're arguing about. And Aries women, no offense to the men, but Aries women.
Aries men are evil. We know that. That's a common fact.
Aries men are just special. They really are. But like with Aries women, one thing I love is that you guys really are the friend that won't allow your friends to dwell or sulk. You're the ones like, bitch, get up. Like we need to go do that. And that's why like when I first was doing the concept, I would always ask people when we were doing like auditions and stuff like that, what sign would you make an alliance with and why? Because I wanted to understand other people's perceptions of it. Because like you said, astrology is so complex. Like I've been studying astrology, how old am I, 25? For almost 10 years, since I was 16. And I got my birth chart in a binder on my 16th birthday. Like, so nice. It was very thoughtful of my grandmother to do that. But I say that because that self-awareness helped me navigate life. A lot of people are just raw dogging life. Yeah. And please, y'all, I believe in God. Let me clarify. I believe in God.
They think you can't do both.
I believe in God.
That ain't in the Bible.
I'm a child of God. I'm a preacher's grandkid as well. Okay. Yeah. Like, I just believe that everything on earth has life, everything has meaning, and I don't think that God would just leave us out here with no resources. So, but I do think I would love to see a competition of astrology. You know, everyone thinks their sign is the best, but are you really when there's so many? So, you know, it's going to be fun. I'm excited.
That's fun.
That's going to be super cool.
Thank you guys. I'm excited. I'm excited that there's somebody that actually believes in it enough, more than myself, because I think when you're creative and you're just creating shit, it's like, well, damn, like, is someone else going to believe in it? Or like, you know, you feel like you have to pitch to prove yourself. Yeah. And so when that gets rejected, it does something to you. So I'm just very grateful to have, you know, not just one, but a few people in my life that are like, nah, Sierra, like, you should do it again. Like, we actually like really want to support you.
Well, I'm so glad you are feeling optimistic in back, because I could tell that took a lot out of you. I mean, you took a break from social media. You said, I can't even do this.
No, I couldn't. I really couldn't. I mean,
and that is the dramatic Virgo of you, I will say.
Yes, it was. Also, I am a Leo Venus, and you know, I do have some other fire placements. Yeah. So absolutely, it was. But I had to, because I felt like. When you, and also my, you know, digital footprint is very different than y'all's. I wish I had a brand where it's just commentary, right? But when you have a niche and you have to deliver to that niche where people are expecting that of you, it's like, I was like, I can't even be fake with y'all no more. Like, I'm really going through it.
Because it's playing into your niche.
Absolutely. And I was like, well, since my niche is creatives, you guys are creating your own shit. Well, use me as the testimony, please. Like, don't allow yourself to get abused. Like, I'm getting fucked over because I really should have left earlier. But to be honest with you, it's like, I'm just grateful that I was able to see it. I was able to vouch for myself. And again, something bigger and better is on the way. But
for sure.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Okay, well, we have one last question. It really doesn't have to do anything with work per se.
Okay.
And I love it because you're so creative, and we're talking about creative, so I think it's going to be a good one.
Yes.
What is your style inspiration? Now, we want to talk about clothes, since clothes get talked about a lot on my TikTok. What plays into it in terms of you being a Gen Z executive? So what's your corporate style? You look very sporty.
Oh, thank you.
Is this something that you'd wear to the office?
Yeah, absolutely. Or sweats. This is actually like a good day at the office.
So are you like of the, you know, Gen Z loves to wear sneakers.
What was it, Siren? The office
siren? The office siren.
Like, bitch, you just want to wear a mini skirt.
Like, girl, say you want to wear them swags.
Nah, I'm the type to wear sweats, but I have like a beat face though. Like a slick back bun, or like a nice little, like if I have like my bundles, which will be coming back for the birthday next month. Like if I have my bundles, I'll have like a nice, like, you know, like a little trucker hat, some sneakers, some, you know, sweats, like nothing really. I think also, and this could also be trauma, ? Like being in music and working in like male dominated spaces, and having to go at the studio at night, you do like kind of learn, like I can still be feminine, but like I just got really comfortable wearing sweats. Like, cause I'm not no groupie.
Working with a lot of men is
part of the reason I wanted to ask this is because the way we dress is very much an interpretation of our experiences.
It is.
So you even saying that, like, as a shapely woman, when I was planning weddings, I got pulled to the side because yes, I'm in business casual, but I'm in a bodycon dress.
Right.
Well, I'm sitting here in front of you and your man, and you might think your man's looking at me.
Yeah.
It's things like you don't think about that.
Is.
I mean, Yeah, it's ass. But but it's like these are the things that we really don't think about. So the fact that you even brought that up, because that was a part of my question.
Yeah.
I love that. Another thing that I wanted to ask, working in an office, working in the industry, the style is much more chill.
It is, yeah.
It is. Do you see yourself wearing slacks and heels? Because you know some of the old school.
I would actually. I feel like I always felt like my style was like a mix, like my ideal style was like a mix of like Tracee Ellis Ross, Solange, and like Taylor Russell. Like,
Say the last one, I'm sorry.
Taylor Russell.
Taylor Russell, exactly.
They all dress very well.
dress very
and
well.
just like, just sickening.
Yeah, like, and it's still very themselves. And you can tell they're still creative pieces where it's not boringly minimal.
Yes.
But it's like their silhouette is like architected really nice. And you can tell that there was intention.
For sure.
And so I think for me, I would love a nice little like pinup. Like I wish I could show you on my Pinterest, like nice some slacks, a nice little, I definitely would want to, but I feel like, because I do have an appreciation for like old vintage style and like old school, but I feel like, I'm not gonna lie, I am also a shapely woman.
You know?
And I was born and blessed with some thighs and ass. So I just feel like,
show them assets.
Yes.
you guys can go on my Instagram and see the vacay pics.
That's what Beyonce said. If you got it, flaunt it.
But I think I really would, ideally, I would in my own office and things like that. Absolutely. But I just think the trauma from other women mentors as well of like, you at the studio, the guys are already gonna flirt with you. They're gonna try to, especially when you're a woman and a manager in the business sense or in marketing and you have a studio session, people are gonna think that, you're sleeping with somebody to be there, or you're somebody's girlfriend, or you just there for a fun time, when in reality, I'm probably smarter than you and I need you to sign this contract. Like, it's just things like that where I have internalized that a lot, where I'm actually unlearning that. Like, I'm unlearning that I don't have to cover myself up because I can be sexy and still smart and still business casual, right? Yeah. But I think when you're just so accustomed to like sweats, go to the studio, dress nice for conferences. Like that's where I'll pop out with a nice little, a nice little
1-2.
Yeah, a nice little blouse, a little something. But I wish like, if the music industry or the creative industries had like, not like a prom, but like a gala, like where people would actually like dress up. Yeah. Cause I feel like it's nice.
We
like,
need structure in general.
We do. We don't have it.
We need our version of the Met.
That's
yes,
one thing.
we do.
Because the Met is for the arts, but it's for the, not creatives, not like social.
But I think fashion's such a great space of expression. I really
it's political.
It is, and I appreciate you asking.
It's all the things.
I really appreciate you asking me that question because I took a picture when I saw it, and I was like, oh my god, no one's ever asked me that. People always ask me like intellectual questions, which I appreciate, but I'm also like 25. Yeah. And I think it is an intellectual question, but more of a creative. Like, Sierra, you're not just a piece of me outsourcing for other people. You are somebody that has hobbies and likes things. So what inspires
what's
you?
Your aesthetic?
And I appreciate that. I really do. Because most times when I do podcasts or interviews, it's just more like educational.
Yeah.
I
things have happened on the internet, but it's teaching me a lot about style.
Yeah.
I've been put in a situation where stylists are talking to me, and it's making me appreciate not just like, oh, I like the way that looks. Yeah. But like the political aspect of fashion, the social aspect, which you're talking about. Like I'm in the studio with these men. I feel the need to wear sweats and big baggy clothes because I don't want you to try nothing. Yeah. It's all the things at once. And I think that we don't consider that when we're just looking at someone's outfit. Yeah.
That's true.
I also really enjoy like looking at people be themselves within their outward expression. That's always been something for me. Like, obviously, we all have our own personal style, and there's things that I just wouldn't wear. Not even because I don't like it, but it's because it's just not me. Yeah. And I love that other people wear it because it's them. You know? So I love seeing other people dress in the way that makes them feel the most comfortable in whatever way that feels like for them. Yeah. And I think that screams loudly when people are very confident, being like, this is what I like to wear, and this is what makes me feel comfortable. This is what makes me feel confident and bold, and
that's
all
them.
The things. Yeah.
And you can feel that, and you can see that confidence literally ooze out of them. And that's also why, like, I am kind of glad that I moved because I like got rid of my whole closet. Like, I'm rebuilding everything
I just said
from
this
scratch.
to Jamila yesterday, and I put it on Twitter. I said, for as much as we, today's in age rely on fast fashion.
Yeah.
Everybody has a lot of the same outfits. Depending on what region you're in America, people are freaking those outfits so differently.
It's true.
Because we were at, we went to Ken the Man's media event and, it was a club setting.
Yeah.
I go to the club in Houston.
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all, this isn't Houston though. This is
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
And this is very specific. What the girls are wearing, the way that they're wearing it is specific to Atlanta, specific to like LA. We were in Cleveland. It looked different out there.
Yeah.
Like we don't think about these pieces.
It's true. It is a regional thing. I think also America is just so big.
You were in Cali, right?
Yeah, it was.
So when you said that, I have a homegirl who's a singer, and being in sweats, being in like chill clothes is very California.
It is.
Very California.
It's so common, even though it's hot as shit, they're still wearing it.
Why are we in joggers?
They're still wearing it.
It's a sweatshirt.
And then it's also like that busy work girl culture too.
Yeah.
Like that
Girl
behind the
boss.
scenes. Yeah, like that Pinterest, like I'm behind the
just
camera.
so on the go.
Yeah, like my matcha in my
With
hand.
my iced coffee. I was gonna say, I'm not a matcha nigga, but I'm an iced coffee guy.
I'm definitely a matcha nigga. And like, but that's me, right? It's like I'll post my little, matcha or my little chocolate Dubai shake from Shake Shack or
With
whatever.
my laptop in the background.
Yeah, like,
Yes.
little, this is me, this is my Notion board, this is my mood board, this is
Yeah.
what I'm doing. Like little stuff like that, absolutely. But I think also it really is my internalized, like, I have ass and I don't need none of these niggas thinking that I'm here for that.
Yeah.
But then also it is just like super comfortable. But the thing about LA, and shout out to all my friends that are in LA, but LA, the issue with LA and why a lot of people are moving outside of like the money and the thing is that it's just so transactional where it's like it is very aesthetic. It is, the irony is like it's so beautiful to look at, but as soon as you like look into it, not at it, but look into it, it's actually not that pretty.
And
like,
I keep hearing that same critique. And I think that's also why people really love Atlanta, which is why I love Atlanta.
I
I
do
feel
too.
like being here for the business that I'm in has been so amazing. And I have not had a bad experience at all.
Thank God.
With just networking and meeting people. Like, and it's uncomfortable for me. It's just because I have really bad social anxiety.
No
Yes.
way.
I swear to you, nobody
Is
ever
that
believes
true?
me.
Just listen.
It's
so I think
very
on
bad.
camera it translates that I'm calmer and she's more hyped up.
Yeah.
But then in person it's very much the opposite.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I've dealt with social like my whole life. It's
Okay.
I don't know what it's just a thing,
Yeah.
brain, right? For me, it's more so when I'm by myself, when I don't have like a partner, somebody there I know familiar.
Yeah.
When I'm in an unfamiliar setting, when I'm around people I don't know, it makes me very, very
can feel
anxious. So that's the thing for me, and it's something that I've actively been working on for the past couple of years because this space is all talking and all networking with people you don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna be left behind.
That's
so I'm
true.
getting better at it, and I push myself every day. Like, and if I'm in this setting, I literally talk to myself, "Bitch, go talk." Like, it takes a lot for me to do it.
Yeah.
And obviously, the more I do it, the better I get.
Yeah.
But yeah, like in Atlanta, I feel like it's a community-based city in
It
my
is.
experience. And I've heard people have different experiences when. I'm sorry, but but for me, I've really had such a community-based experience with people here, like from every industry. It's like everybody's like, yeah, no, like give me your contact, like let's work.
And they're serious.
They're dead serious.
Like, they're
you know
not
what I'm
playing,
saying? It's not
yeah.
on the funny, like well,
And
ooh,
that's the LA
whatever.
night and day, because
Yeah.
people will ask you what you do in LA before they even ask you your name.
Yeah.
And in Atlanta, it's like people will be like, nah, like where'd you from? Nah, like let's collab,
It's
bro.
cool.
Like it feels like that. And it's probably why too, it's easier for you to network too, because
Yeah.
it is more organic. And I feel like the joke outside of Atlanta, it's like everybody in Atlanta thinks that there's somebody, but it's like, nah, like they are though.
Yeah.
And it's
and
like,
they
that's
respect it on whatever end. They don't care. Like, it's like if you could tell somebody right now that you scamming Atlanta, but for sure.
Yeah, like it's just But you know what though? I feel like Atlanta, it is that city, and I do think that, especially now with the World Cup coming, all these creatives, there's movie studios, more movie studios. I just think that people are starting to see like culture really is bred here, and I think that like this is gonna sound really crazy. I'm not gonna say that. Actually, that's gonna sound really crazy. Actually, fuck it, I'll say it. I'm gonna say it. I think when people say the South will rise again, I don't believe. I want to preface. I don't believe.
I'm screaming.
But I do believe.
The KKK almost ate with that.
What you should have said is the South got something to say.
The South got something to
Word to
say.
Andre
Okay.
and
Yes.
But see, this is the premise,
Yeah.
right? people, especially Black people, they associate the South with a lot of slavery and suffering still.
For sure.
And they are like, like, I'll go for the food, I'll go for whatever. Or Atlanta, strip clubs and wings, whatever, cool. Like, I'll leave when I'm there. But it's when you live here, it's completely different.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the thing that and the reason why I say that it will rise, which I should, can we edit that? But I say that,
leave that in there.
I say that because it's like the Black people that have been so oppressed for such a long time are the reason why all these people are coming here.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's like to see this actress, I don't know if y'all saw the Wu-Tang series, but Zoli Griggs, amazing actress, been following her since forever. She just moved to Atlanta because she was like, I just feel more supported here. I feel like I can build my own team. It's more entrepreneurial. It's more of a building city, community. And I just think also Black entrepreneurship or people of color, person of color entrepreneurship, women in entrepreneurship is expected.
Yeah,
I think it's normalized, it's expected. Everywhere. And it's like, oh, it's a Black-owned business. Oh, of course there is. Of course that is.
I was gonna say it's not hard to find a Black-owned business.
No, but
not hard at all.
But in other places, it's like you go to that place because it is a Black-owned business. You go because you support. And so I just say that I think Black economics in Atlanta is going to continue to rise. And hopefully I cleaned that up really well.
She likes Robert E. Lee.
Oh my God, please don't. I don't. Ancestors, forgive me. But no, I mean, I think Atlanta is a beautiful city, and you guys are also like really, and I believe this, and I want to speak this over your life. Like, you guys are going to be the faces, especially from like hosting and like acting, and like there aren't a lot of people that are not stagnant in the creator space. You guys are actively making that transition from, I'm not just a creator though. Like I am a producer, I am an actress, I am a host, I am an editor, and you're like making spaces for that. And it's just like Atlanta's the city for that. And I'm just so excited to see you guys grow, honestly.
Thank you. I'm excited to see you grow, girl.
Thank you, girl. I'm trying.
I'm glad you got a smile on your face, sister, because watching you do that, I said, oh, that baby done lost the light.
I did for a second.
I said, oh Lord, what have they done?
Yeah, they did some things for sure. But God sees all.
Yes.
And I think, what you put out will always come back in the timing. And so that's why I'm like, as long as you do good, you move with integrity, it don't matter how long it's going to take, it's going to happen. Yeah. So it's like, God's on my side.
Yes.
Period. Yeah.
All right. So before we completely wrap up, I do want to make things very, very clear on our end. We are no longer associated with Calaxy. To date, we have not received any payment. And from our end, because we asked you what would make you happy. So from our end, what would make us happy is some sort of compensation that we were owed and that we were promised to get on a platform and to promise us as creators, because forget Jamila and Mecca, right? To promise creators something on such a large platform, such as South by Southwest, and for it to enter into the article space, something of financial gain, and to renege essentially on that promise is kind of shitty, and so I think for us, we are looking to be compensated for our name, image, and likeness that has been used to essentially sell this platform, and that's what we're looking for. This was not necessarily a bash fest. This was an informational conversation. I think a lot of people wanted to know what the hell was going on.
And they deserve answers.
And so this was an opportunity for us to kind of lay that out and tell you guys what was going on from our perspective, and then also perspective from somebody who was in the company in it of itself, and to let you know that we were not dodging y'all's questions. We genuinely needed some time.
Yeah.
We needed some time together. And so as things go, if things aren't handled in the way that they should be, we do have a legal due process, and we will seek that. So thank you again for joining us.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited for you guys. And honestly, just keep killing shit.
Literally. So where can the people find you?
Oh yeah, you guys can follow me or find me on Instagram and TikTok at Gen Z Exec, on YouTube at Sierra Imari, Sierra like Sierra Mist, not the singer. And that's where I'm at. I'm not on Twitter anymore or X anymore after the election. I had to do what I had to do. And yeah.
Peace of mind.
Yeah.
Get your peace of mind,
literally. But if anyone has any questions or anything about marketing, showing up for yourself or anything like that, I'm really an open book. So
and what's the name of your marketing agency again?
The Intertech Agency. So like entertainment and tech, but just one word. Intertech. The Intertech Agency.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yep.
Well, thank y'all so much again. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Don't forget to follow us on all platforms at Unhinged and Immoral Pod.
Yes.
Sign up for our Patreon. We have a lot of content coming soon. You guys know where you can find me and Jamila respectively.
See you guys next Thursday.
Bye, guys.
Cut.